Hi everyone, welcome to the Flavored Life channel. Yay! I'm excited and excited. Obviously, my name is Favor Ilori, as you all know. If you're new here, namaste. Welcome. We love you already. And for my returnees, you guys, my real MVPs, I'm super excited. I mean, you guys have been on this journey with me. It's so good, so amazing. And yes, obviously, your girl always gonna show up. I have to show up properly. I was telling myself, I was like, I don't feel like shooting a video today, but you know what? I'm going to show up because that's what we do. We show up. And so today we're going back to Navigating Life series with Favor. I'm so excited because this is just where I share my heart. Like I'm like wisdom, Opa. God, you poured it in download, so I'm gonna just do the needful and pour it back to your people. So today we're taking it easy. Remember I said that we're meant to start with the identity series, and then the Holy Spirit navigated us through the waiting season. So we're going back to the identity series. I'm so excited because this is the starting context. I still got a message some days ago saying, Favor, how do I find my purpose? How do I discover myself? What am I to do here? How do I know what I'm to do? What job to take? That's why we're here, guys. I can't give you everything now, but we're gonna take it bit by bit like tablets, so that when you take one, it'll do what it's meant to do. So before without further ado, let's get right in. So to start with, we're talking about how to discover yourself, how to discover purpose in itself. I feel like let's not even jump to purpose just yet. The word in itself is, I feel like everybody's trying to define it. I think I did a double search on how to find purpose and how many people have searched for it, and I mean the count was outrageous. Everyone is trying to find something. Everyone wants to have meaning to their life. They want to know what they're called to do. They want to understand the precepts, the journey, and it's not necessarily a right or a wrong answer. Finding yourself is not a one size fits all. Finding yourself is not a journey that I'll just tell you blah 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 blah. This is what you're called to do. I mean, if you're that person, please connect me to your plug. That would be really amazing. But it's not just about that. It's a journey. And I think that's the first thing we need. That's the first myth we need to break. It's not just a black or white answer. Finding yourself, finding your purpose, finding your journey. It's a journey in itself. That's the answer. It's a journey. And like a journey, you're going to go before you can get from one point to the other. There's going to be a process. Like I keep telling you, this whole channel is all about process. If you don't like process, before the end of this video, I'm sure you'll start to love it. Because our whole lives, we evolve because it's a journey. It's not something you just stumble upon that, oh my God, this is what I'm to do. That, and I mean, if that's what happens to you, that's super great. I'm happy for you. I mean, share your secrets in the comment section. I would love to hear about it. But in the grand scheme of things, to really identify the identity question, I always say, let's go back to the starting context. So you were born on earth and you want to discover yourself. How do you do it? I always love the analogy. My mentor used to use it a lot. I use the analogy of the chair as well because it just makes so much sense. Now imagine a chair was used to lift people up. So for example, I was trying to get something from the kitchen table. And so I pulled up the chair and I stood on it to get where I couldn't reach because my height couldn't get me to where I needed to get my equipment from. Now I had to stand on the chair to take it. Or imagine I was in the room, I had a chair in the middle of my room, and I needed to, hang some of my clothes that I just worn, and I needed to air it out before putting it back in the wardrobe or before taking it for laundry. So I put it on the chair and used my chair as a makeshift hanger. Now, my question to you is, because the chair was a makeshift hanger, does it make the chair a hanger? Or because the chair was used to lift my height, did it make the chair a ladder? Not necessarily. However, the chair now has multiple functions, but does that change the fact that the chair was made to carry people? Does it change the fact, does it make the chair become a table because it's carrying things? Or because you come from the grocery store and you had to drop something and the nearest available surface space was the chair, and you kept it on the chair, does it change the chair to a table? It doesn't. However, if you don't know what a chair is, or if there's no identification of a chair, then you might actually misinterpret it and call it a ladder, or a wardrobe makeshift hanger, or a table. But guess what? Enough for us to be able to know it's a chair. Who defined it? The manufacturer. When it was created, the intent for creation was for it to carry people. So it was built with the level and the ability to carry the weight of men. And so, regardless of the multiple other functions that it does, it doesn't change the actual definition of what it is meant to do. And so, likewise, when you were created, that's why most times I always tell people, when you define yourself based on what you do, then when I take from you what you do, who are you? So you tell yourself, oh, I'm a mother. Great, I have no problem with that. But if I take away your children, who are you? You tell yourself, I'm a doctor. If I take away your profession, what are you? Who are you? Now, you need to be able to define yourself outside of the very things that you do. Yes, because of who you are, there are certain things that you will do, and that's amazing. But then at the same time, in terms of starting context, who are you? And that's why most times we always say, define the fullness of your version from the place of context of who you are, design, not what you do or why you do the things that you do, but from who you are. Because everything stems from who you are. The world will try to define you because for them, in order for you to make sense, there needs to be a label. And so if you don't get the starting context right, you would end up trying to define yourself based on the things that you do, based on the expressions that you express from what you do. But all of these things are just it's like the flavors of the core. So if you don't find the core, everything else, you'll be trying to define yourself from a place of flavor rather than from the place of essence. I don't know if you get that, but that actually makes sense. You'll be trying to define yourself from the place of flavor rather from essence. The essence, that is the design, the makeup, that which makes you you. Who is that person? Now that's what we need to find out. And we're going to do it together. It's a journey. That's why I'm taking my time to really deconstruct this. Because I believe that identity is a process. I can't rush this conversation. I can't rush this episode because it's something that I understand that many years from now, people will ask for a resource to help them navigate, and I will point them to this. And I don't want them to feel like they just heard fluff and became energized and empowered, but they still don't understand who they are. So if we go back to the starting context of identity, what was the intent behind the creation of man? Why was man formed? Why am I here on earth? What did I come to do? You ever asked yourself those questions before? You are in the right place. So if we go back to the starting context, now we think about it from the image of God, because some people say, galaxy, some people, Big Bang Theory, and I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinions. However, for me, in terms of belief and what it is that actually makes sense to my spirit, my mind, and my soul as to where man came from is God. And he says, in his image and his likeness, he created man. He, them, male and female. So when we think about the form, he says, he's looked to himself and said, I created man from my image and my likeness. So meaning we are an offshoot of somebody. So enough for me to understand my design of who I've been called to be, I need to now know the person that manufactured me. Just like the way the chair cannot be defined as a chair unless we go back to the manufacturer. So my manufacturer is the person that created man. Because even if you say, okay, your mother, who created your mother, your grandmother, great grandmother, and then you trail yourself back to Abraham, trail yourself back to Adam, and Adam trail it back to God. And so, who is God? I know that this might be scary, but whoever God is to you is who you are. Whoever God is to you is who you are. Or that's the dimension of the revelation of who you've come into. Because just as He is, so you are. And this must sink in. My mentor would always say, you are God's intent, you're God's thought out process. You are the fullness because He thought you through. Yeah, He thought you through. You're not just an afterthought. He actually thought you through. He said, "Let us make man." Everything else he spoke out, everything else he said aloud. But for man, he thought you through. He said, "Let us make man." He came into himself in the fullness of the Trinity of God in three persons. He came into that confidence and said, "Let us make man." You were a thought out process and a journey and a destination of the fullness. That's why you're journeying into a person. So actually, you say, Favor, you said purpose is a journey. So where's the destination? You're journeying into a person, and the person is God. The person is Christ. That's why he had to come in flesh form so that you can see a typology of what you should look like on the earth. Why do you always think he says, let this mind be in you, which is also in Christ Jesus? Because he's trying to tell you that you're not just the image and the form, but you're also the mind. You're meant to reflect the fullness. You're meant to have dominion. And all of this process. Okay, so Favor, you're saying that now we look like God, we are in the image of God, we're called to be like Christ and all of that. So how does that translate to what I'm to do on this earth? So now, the first place of this is understanding that it says, be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, have dominion. That was the first mandate given to man. The man is given the authority to have dominion over the earth realm. As he is, so you are, and just like he governs the heavens, you have to govern the earth. And so for us, it's a different diverse expression because there are different manifold dimensions of God. And so I always say, what is the problem you've been called to solve? Where is the itch? Some ways to help you track that. Now, that's what we'll journey through in the series, because there are many ways to help you now find your, that thing that, for me, one of it is, like I said, I'm the navigator. For me, it's easy when people bring problems and I'm just like, oh, okay, let's do this, let's try this out, and let's see how you feel in the next 3 weeks. Let's see how it works. Boom, and they're like, oh my God, Favor, this makes so much sense. Da, 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 da. And that's because I just feel like I don't like when people struggle because of a lack of wisdom in an area. I feel like when there's a wisdom gap, there's some certain things you'll struggle with. So bringing wisdom and clarity into spaces help people to have a more efficient life. I really want us to explore, like, in terms of the journey and the steps that might help you along the way in terms of finding purpose. But I think I'll stop here because in terms of the starting context, I want you to thank God. When you think identity, the first thing I want you to think about is God. And that's why I want to leave you here because, when I think something to lift me up, you think ladder. When I think something to hang clothes, you think hanger. When I think something to see better, you think glasses. So when you think man, when you think identity, I want you to think God, because you are made in the image and the likeness of Him, God. So when we think, what is my purpose? It's to be like God. It's to dominate like God. It's to express myself on the earth just like God. That is, have dominion. That is, be the fullness of my design, to dominate the earth realm, to be the best in my field, to be the best at my job, to express excellence like that has never been seen on the earth, to be a solution giver, solution solver, just like my Father. So whatever dimension of God that you see is who you're meant to replicate upon the earth, because as He is, so you are. And that's where I'll stop tonight. I will see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification button. So in case I post a new video, you're going to see it. Obviously, we're going to walk through the steps of identity figuring out to find your unique pathway for life and godliness. So if you want to know what that looks like, stay tuned for my next video. Bye-bye.